who like speedrunning Oblivion, maybe want to check out some of the other games, or just want to share Todd Howard memes. So next up, we have an interview with DrTChops and Ghost King, who's going to be running Wise Origin later on in the morning. So I'm now going to head over to our interviewers.
Can I lower this a little bit? It's I feel like I'm tilting my neck a little.
Hi, I'm DrTChops. I'm here with Ghost King. And
Hello.
Ghost King's going to be running Ys Origin in just a little bit here. Now, I want to address the elephant in the room. What's with the shades?
It's sort of a medical thing that came up.
Your doctor gave you like a prescription for being cool at all times?
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right, sounds good. But moving on. So you're going to be running Ys Origin later, a couple runs from now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not the only Ys game you run. You're pretty familiar with the series. What is it about the Ys series that you really like for speedrunning?
I like their combination of action and movement. A lot of them have very neat little tricks and ways of gaining speed and momentum that make the games a lot more fast than I would say the average action RPG, while at the same time having a lot of intense boss battles and all sorts of neat little tricks. As well as, I just really like the music in the series as well. So
Right. Always a good strong, point for speedrunning. And now I know you run a lot of games, especially even outside of the Ys series and stuff, but you really like to stick to the RPGs mostly. What is it about RPGs that you really like, that genre that really draws you?
I like a nice balance of games that feel like they take both skill and memory. I like games that feel as if the skill of the game is not just entirely muscle memory, but also that I have to think, I have to improvise, I have to come up with something in every different situation that makes each new run something different. So rather than just like resetting after 5 minutes because I didn't get this one trick.
So kind of looking at like randomness as an opportunity for interesting strategies instead of just a detriment to your run.
Yeah, different games handle that a little bit differently. Some games you get a random element and it's like, well, I lose my entire run. I like the ones that the random element is you can get one of 4 possible scenarios and you have to know how to deal with each one.
Right. Yeah, absolutely cool. Well, I know with Ys, it's kind of, it's a somewhat popular series, but not one that like a lot of people are familiar with. So for those out there who are watching who are completely unfamiliar with the Ys series, that is spelled Y-S, by the way.
Yeah.
Give me kind of, an elevator pitch. Like what should we be looking out for? What are we sticking around late night for this run?
Well, the series has a lot of interesting lore, fantastic soundtrack, because the development team behind it has its own, they have their own in-house sound team rather than just
awesome.
like a simple composer that they hire for commission. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of really neat tricks to just handling the game. The games are actually really difficult, so if you're like a challenge seeker or thrill seeker, I think they're fantastic for that. There's just a lot that I could say about this series that I can't do in a simple interview question, but suffice to say, there is just so much content, so much that I love about the series.
Cool. And why Ys Origin specifically did you kind of submit here? Why do you like that one? We've seen other Ys games from you at other marathons and stuff in the past, but why Ys Origin at this one?
Well, for this marathon in particular, I picked the game up to submit for a marathon last year. I was watching a streamer running the game for a smaller marathon back when I was first getting into the series, and I thought, this game looks really cool. Why haven't I seen this game in more marathons? And I decided, maybe I'll be the guy who learns it and submits it into marathons, and kind of just building up off of that, I just thought, hey, I'll offer it to GDQ and see how that goes, and it got in, and I was just. This is kind of a long time coming. There's been a lot of community members trying to get this one into GDQ for years now, so it's great to see it in, and I'm a little honored to be the one to do the run.
That's awesome. You kind of touched on it there, but did you want to go in more in depth at all about kind of how you started running Ys games?
Well, at the time, the community for the game was. A lot of the members had grown fairly inactive, and I saw a small marathon run by a German runner by the name of Crush, and I thought the game looked really cool. I picked it up, learned it really quickly for a marathon that I ended up getting into, and I was just utterly floored by that. And
Just wanted to jump in there and be part of it.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to pick up a game that I felt like I could learn. I could learn and potentially even have some sort of input on. And it's been 2 years later, and it's been a great ride ever since.
Awesome. Well, we're going to be looking forward to that run coming up pretty soon, but I want to ask you, as I've been asking a lot of people throughout this marathon so far, for those who want to get into e-speedrunning, especially after watching your run later, what can we, what resources are available? Where can we look to learn more about e-speedrunning and E's origin in particular?
Well, the community is just a bunch of wonderful people. A lot of people are really willing to, go the extra mile and help out new runners for the games. If you talk to anyone who on the leaderboards who's been submitting in the last couple months, they'd be willing to help you. For the category in particular that I'll be running, which is TOEL EX, I made a video tutorial myself to try and help new runners, and I've heard some feedback that it's helped them out. Really, it's just a very friendly community that's willing to help out any new runners. We have our own Discord, but just reach out to any of us, and we'll be more than willing to help out anyone looking to learn one of these games.
Fantastic, and I can totally back that up as someone who has known Ghost King for a couple years now. He's totally approachable, so be sure to reach out. Well, with that, I think we're going to look to the man who never sleeps and is perpetually always just out of frame. It's my main man, Sent, here. Tell me about some prizes we got going on.
Hey, Hobbs, always glad to be here. So we have a couple of prizes for this early morning block here. We have this statue of Molag Bal, the Dajic Prince in all of his glory. That's going to be running up through our next run, Divinity Original Sin. And this is also the start of a golden PlayStation 4 submitted to us by Sean Hammonds, really cool guy. That's going to be running all day today until, I believe, A Link to the Past tonight. $50 cumulative for that, so hey, get your donations now in for the statue, get your donations in for the PS4 throughout the day, and of course, get your donations in for this awesome computer all throughout the marathon. That's $150 cumulative. As always, guys, you can head over to gamesdonequick.com, check out the tracker. That is all the relevant information you're ever going to need about prizes, upcoming speedruns, donation bids, and anything you'd want to know about the marathon.
Well, that's all the incentive I need. I'm definitely going to be pulling out my wallet immediately after this interview's over. And with that, I'll be sure to send it back over to David, as we're going to be checking out this Divinity Original Sin marathon run up next in this great marathon. Take it away.
All right, thanks, guys. And we are all ready to go for our co-op run of Divinity Original Sin, so I will now hand it over to Shaddex and DrTChops.
Hello. I'm DrTChops.
Hi, I'm Shaddex.
This is Divinity Original Sin. Before we get started, we're just going to give a quick rundown of our characters that we're making. So for attributes, we have 7 strength, which lets us carry more, and 8 dex, which will make our spells that we have selected always pass. They'll never fail. There is a speed stat. It doesn't actually make you faster outside of combat, which is really disappointing, so it's useless. For abilities, we have Scoundrel, which gives us access to these skills. I have 2 points in TK, and I have lockpicking. Shaddex has a point in wand to do some more damage.
Yeah. I think the most important thing is these skills here. So we have Fast Trap, which actually makes us move faster for a shorter period of time, and Walk in Shadows, which actually makes us go completely invisible. Enemies can't see us, can't attack us. Super overpowered, super good.
Yeah.
I believe all our stats are done. Let me double check my talents. Yep. Okay, time will start on accepting our characters.
Yeah, just real quick, the talents we have as well is just pack mule to double the weight you carry, and I have Lone Wolf, which just gives us more ability points, which we'll use later. And funnily enough, Fast Track is literally the only thing in the game which will make you move faster outside of combat.
I also quickly want to mention that we had a donation incentive for the character names, and Dat-Boy and 2B1, so we are playing as those characters.
The world-famous couple, Dat-Boy and 2B.
Yeah.
All right, so...
Ready on time?
3, 2, 1, go. So, this is Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition. It is a fantastic game. I highly recommend it. We're going to start out by using basins. This is the thing that makes us go faster, the only thing in the game.
Okay. We do have autosaves on. That's okay.
I'm just going to disable those because they waste time.
So before we start, I want to quickly talk about just give a brief overview of how the game is laid out for people who aren't familiar with it. So the game is basically laid out in 4 or 5 different major areas with some sub-areas, and you're supposed to have to complete quests in each area to progress to the next and eventually beat the game. We are not going to be doing any of that. Throughout the entire game, I don't even think we really completed quests technically.
We do like a couple.
A couple technically, but not really. If you're wondering how to do that, stay tuned. It's actually pretty cool, and we'll get started with that pretty soon. A lot of this run will be separated from each other. You can see I'm like way over in the tutorial dungeon right now, and Chops is doing something else. I'm over here to get lockpicks to skip this first fight, which I will now send to Chops.
I'm going to make my way towards the first town. You can just mash through dialogue in this game, so it's super fast. And we actually went invisible to go past the first intro fight of the game that introduces the major villain, Leandra. But you just go invisible and run past, and they just kind of forget about everything and leave, which is kind of funny. There's a bigger tutorial fight here with some orcs and some companions. Once again, you can just go invisible and walk right past.
And right now I'm picking up water barrels. So we finished the game at, I think, about level 6, where we kill the final few enemies. It's really, really hard to kill the last few enemies. It's not like Elder Scrolls where they level depending on how high level you are. So what we actually do is we make a really, really heavy chest. And this chest is so heavy that it does thousands of damage and kills enemies. So that is why we are collecting these barrels.
Yeah, the combat otherwise is extremely slow because it's turn-based. But we can just kind of not worry about that since we'll have the superior power of the chest full of barrels. The ones we care about are these ones that are water barrels, there's oil barrels, and toxic gas barrels, I think. Those are the heaviest things in the game, so we're going to get a whole bunch of those.
And right now I'm mostly just waiting for Chops to hurry up and do something so that I can catch up, because I'm just in a completely different part of the map right now.
The sheep did a flip, that's hype.
Oh, one important thing to mention is that for the most part, if we want to transition to another place, we have to be right near each other.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the few exceptions because we're doing it through plot. So once we wait for this plot trigger to hit, it's going to teleport us to the end of time, and we're going to get a whole long plot dump. So we're going to have time for donations here.
Yeah, this is mostly just required by the game. It's one of the few things we can't really skip. You can do a couple donations.
We have $50 from Real Slim JD. Y'all rock. We have $50 from Slacker. Sadly, won't get a chance to watch live much this year, but still want to make a donation. We have $50 from Verdurio. Happily donating for this great cause.
What?
Thanks to everyone for making GDQ possible.
So one thing I want to mention here that we forgot is that there's an encumbrance system in the game. Basically, if you're over encumbered, you move at a very, very slow rate.
So after we get this big plot dump, we actually unlock our fast travel system. So like Shaddex mentioned, we have to be close to each other, but you can just kind of travel to these set points whenever you want. So we're going to go back to the town now and do some more barrel hunting, and Shaddex is going to go off and do a few other things as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk to Arhu here. Normally, you talk to him a ton of times throughout the run. And right here, he introduces us to the pyramid system. Basically, there's 2 pyramids in the game. And what they do is, if you click on one, it will teleport you to the other.
Yeah, and that's, really useful as you'd expect for just movement and backtracking, but it'll also be extremely useful for a couple skips.
Yeah, it actually gives us probably the biggest skip in the game. Right here, I'm going to pick up our first party member, Jahan. Normally, you can have a max of 4, I think, or 2 total, I guess.
Yeah.
We're going to use Jahan to carry barrels for us, essentially.
Yeah, save here.
Yep. Oops. He did not go to the right place, but that's okay.
So over here, there's a whole bunch of enemies, but more importantly, there's a whole bunch of very heavy barrels. So that I'm just going to go invisible and run past all the enemies and collect them. And I can just use the fast travel system to teleport out, and it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, so obviously we want to go fast, so we want to be able to move through the whole game. So we basically get Jahan just so that we can throw our barrels to him, and then we'll be able to move at a fast pace while he just kind of follows along very slowly or not at all.
Yeah, you can also just drag and drop items to character portraits to just give them the item no matter where they are, which is pretty handy for managing this equip load.
Yeah, normally if you can also right-click an item and send it to them, but that makes you stop moving. So dragging and dropping is just a slight optimization on that.
And over here, there's a very special chest. I think it's part of like a quest line. This chest is basically indestructible, and even though it's just a small chest, it'll be able to carry like around 60 barrels. I think it's something like that.
Yeah, so if you look on my screen right now, you'll see I'm basically just stuffing this chest full of barrels. And later on, this will be used to kill, I believe, 2 enemies. 2 of the final required 3 enemies.
All right, so we've basically collected everything that really matters in this area, so we're going to move on to the next one. This is a fire-covered area with a bunch of like flaming enemies. The pathfinding is really terrible, so I'm going to take my time to walk around this so they don't just run into the fire. Because when you're on fire, you're not invisible, and then the enemies will murder you. That's not optimal.
Yeah, the combat in this is actually turn-based, and a single fight can take upwards of 10 minutes. So we will avoid all fights possible, to the point where we don't actually fight until the very end of the game. Chops can't actually make it far enough for this, so I have to go invisible and continue on.
Yeah, luckily we can just kind of, use the teleport pyramids to just teleport to each other and continue on with the invisibility. And up here, you see this waypoint shrine. We're going to be collecting a bunch of these so we can teleport around and make our way to the next area, which we're not actually going to do anything.
Yeah.
It's just when we enter this area, we unlock another waypoint.
So if you
we're going
haven't
to
played the
abuse
game
it.
before, well, either way, whether you've played this game or not, you're going to be super confused here. We're going to do our best to explain. Basically, we just skipped all of the quests in the first area.
Yeah,
we have
we
not
just
done
immediately moved on
a
to the
single
next one.
quest.
And now we're going to do a trick called chair warping.
Yeah.
So the game tracks coordinates. You can see them right under the mini-map. Whenever you teleport somewhere, it'll warp you to the coordinates of wherever that teleport point is. But if you're sitting down in a chair, your coordinates will be locked. So you'll be in the same coordinates, but on a different map. And if we sit in that chair, that just happens to be right beside the exit to this area.
Yeah, so what chair warping does is, if you sit in a chair, it saves your coordinates, and then you fast travel to another area, and it
closer.
just plops you down at that same
Get
spot.
closer.
It just plops you down at that same spot, but on a different map. So we just skipped the whole second area. Now we are in the third area, and we are going to repeat that to skip the third area and go very close to one of the final areas of the game.
Yeah, so this third area, it's divided into like a bottom section that you can easily go around in, and then there's this like giant poison cloud that insta-kills you that you can't get past without doing a whole bunch of extra quests. But if we use the exact same chair, we can just chair warp right past it, and conveniently it puts us right beside the waypoint shrine, which is pretty handy.
There we go. Jahan sometimes just likes to not unchain. If you don't unchain him, he'll basically just follow you around and he will die.
Yeah. Shaddex is going to some very dangerous places.
Yeah.
Jahan's been very useful, but he's kind of outlived his usefulness.
Yeah, there's actually a required boss up here, which you can either fight or you can sacrifice Jahan. So Jahan has served 2 purposes this run. 1, to carry barrels, and 2, to skip this boss.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty complicated dialogue where you have to go through a bunch of different deals and things. But we're just gonna go ahead and say, Jahan, you can just sacrifice your life. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, can you say it for me?
Yeah.
So
while
yeah, you explain this, please.
So while he's going through and making the deal, I'm going to be setting up a clip with these crates and barrels, which is extremely annoying. There it goes.
Maybe she's just out. I've always
Careful.
You'd see justice or rather than
Hunters.
This is like one of the few conversations where you actually have to be careful. There we go. All
Yeah.
right.
So if you mess that up, he'll attack you and run over.
And then now Shaddex is just going to go invisible and teleport to this pyramid, and since the path is blocked, it's just going to push him through this door and completely skips opening up that door, which
Yeah.
takes a whole bunch of
Bit
puzzling.
scary boss there, but that's okay.
we just
Not too
ignore it
scary.
and teleport past it.
Again, we haven't fought one person. We really haven't completed one quest even. But we are now in a place called the Source Temple. In order to unlock the final area of the game, basically the ending sequence, all you have to do is get to the Source Temple. Oh, there we go. All you have to do is get through the Source Temple. So normally you're supposed to collect 20, what are they called?
It's like 20-ish star stones
Star
or something,
stones.
some arbitrary plot item.
Yeah, you basically get them through doing quests and exploring the world. But instead, we can use pyramids just to do one of the biggest skips in the game and basically go straight to the end of the game.
Yeah, so normally this door will not let you pass unless you have those things, but I can just do this and throw the pyramid through, and we're through. Easy peasy.
Yeah, skips all the quests in the game.
That skips probably like 50 hours of casual play, something like that.
It's insane how long it actually takes to get to this point. Anyone who's played has first-hand knowledge of this.
Yeah.
And there's another one we have to do here. This doesn't skip nearly as much.
It's just a little puzzle with these candles here, but we can just do exactly the same thing.
Get it there. Perfect.
And we're being pretty optimal with our haste usage, and come on, give me infinite haste.
Nice.
There's a glitch that can happen sometimes where you just don't have a cooldown for haste and you can keep using it over and over. It seems to happen when you mash the haste button, but it's not always.
Yeah, so in order to open the final area of the game, all we have to do is talk to this guy up here. I believe his name is Balberith?
This is Zandalor.
This is Zandalor. Oh.
Yeah.
What? Who's Balberith? Is that?
I
Oh,
can't-
that's the guy we just killed, isn't he?
Maybe?
Maybe. It's been a while.
Can't keep track. We
It's
just
been a
skip through
while.
all the dialogue. All
Okay,
right.
so we could go straight to the end right now, but we actually need something new to kill the final boss. So the chest that we've made is very, very good. It does a ton of damage, but it doesn't do quite enough to kill the final boss. So we're actually going to go get another chest called the lava chest. What the lava chest does is it's supposed to be a trap. You're supposed to go loot this chest, and then a fireball comes down from the sky, and it just one hit kills you. It's supposed to be a big laugh. But
game
if you,
loves traps.
if you avoid the trap, you can pick up the chest. And what you can do is blow it up at a later time.
Rip.
And then it does like 10,000 damage, which we'll be using to kill the final boss. So what we're going to do here is one more chair warp, except with a bench this time. So I'm going to go invisible so that I don't get attacked when I go there. Sit on the chair. Again, that locks my coordinates to a position. We warp to another map, and I get spawned at that exact same position on a different map.
Yep, and this is right near this lava chest over here.
Yep, Chops is going to save right up here just in case this does blow up. Again, the pathfinding in this game is a little finicky.
It's a little terrible.
Hopefully I'll get around.
It's fine.
and good. Oh, it is not good. It was good for a second, oddly enough.
Are you dead? This is fine. Just send me your rear res scroll.
I don't.
Oh, no, you didn't
I
get
didn't
the
get the
chest.
chest though. You
Never
have to
mind.
reload the save.
So the pathfinding is
I'm not sure why that
Oh,
one
wrong
didn't
way.
work. It
Wrong
didn't.
way. Wrong way.
Where am I? What?
it.
Where did you save? Oh, it's this way. Yeah, it looked like that was good. Usually if you just go to the left here, it's fine. Pick up. Looks like I
There
got
we
it
go.
that time. So there we go.
All right, so now we can move on. Oops, I went to the wrong place. That's fine.
Oh. Yeah, so now we're going back to our homestead, the end of time. Again, this is just lore stuff. Chops is going to pick up all the barrels that I left here, and I'm going to go basically start the end of the game by talking to Zyzax.
Load up this barrel.
So this section right here actually is not in the Classic Edition. I guess they decided they needed more story, something like that.
What lies beyond
So now we have to do this section, which takes a few extra minutes, but
Yeah, this is just a boring section where like the evil person just taunts you and calls you stupid and lots of mean things because they're bad. It's just a long walking section at first, so you can do a couple donations.
yeah, they do some puzzles here, but I obviously know the answers, so go ahead.
We have $5 from Hockey. Hey Chops, hey Shaddex, it's Hockey here. Just had to donate to this run of the worst movies in history. Try not to pack chests too lightly. We have $223.10 from TJ09. My friend Becker and I decided to start learning how to speedrun Divinity after seeing it on the SGDQ schedule and learned the route by watching the submission. Just wanted to thank Shaddex and DrTChops for everything. We have $5 from Straffic. Had to donate one more time during the Divinity run. Good luck going fast to two of my favorite speedrunners.
Thanks, Traffic. One thing we can mention here is we have a skill called Telekinesis. And Telekinesis is used to move stuff on the ground. So obviously the chest we have is super, super heavy. Whoever has the chest cannot actually walk at all. So TK allows you to put it on the ground and then move it. And you'll see Chops doing that right now.
Yeah, so while we were doing that thing, I actually leveled up TK to max, which means I can lift literally anything and throw it really far, which means I can just juggle this chest. I can't move when I'm carrying it, but with TK, I can just throw it around like it's nothing. It's kind of silly. This is just a big like puzzle and lore section that we need to sit through. We're going to be collecting a whole bunch of barrels and solving more things.
That is one hefty tome over there.
There we go.
Nice. Good timing there.
Nice to you.
And conveniently enough, right at the end of the game, there's like, I think 5 or 6 barrels that we can get. Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Oh,
and those are the
pick
final
that up.
ones we
There we
need
go.
to actually continue. At the start of this next section, I'm going to drop the chest so that I
Okay.
can actually move around. Right. Oh, ow, ow, there we go.
What could that have done?
Makes my eyes water, my throat burn.
All right, so Shax is going on to defile a dead body because lore or something.
Not
I'm just gonna-
quite sure why, but it's okay. It's required. You're going to see the first fight of the game coming up, actually, and
man.
it's a real nail-biter. There's a lot of risk involved in this fight. It could go wrong very, very quickly.
Yeah, so this fight is against the Trife, who is this evil guy who's basically just been hounding you the entire game, telling you you're ugly and stupid and bad and stuff. Just, you know, general bad guy things. And he's a serious threat. He has a lot of HP. He is really powerful. He will probably one-shot us,
Yep.
but he's kind of a pushover.
Don't worry, this is a real nail-biter.
Oh, you're
So
so
Chops,
slow. Come on.
Chops can't actually bring this through the door because it's too heavy and you can't use telekinesis to get through it. So I have to go through here and then he sends it to me. Maybe save just in case. Again, real nail biter coming up. Really struggled with this for a long time, but I think I perfected the method.
All right. So he's going to spawn in here. Takes a little bit just for him to spawn in. You can just go invisible in that time and then drop a chest on his toe. And it starts combat, but
Okay.
he's already taken over half of his health of
Yeah,
damage.
so half of his health is gone, more than half. But we're invisible, so he can't really attack us.
Yeah.
You're going to see him buff up here instead and not really do anything useful.
Both the desecration. He's raged. Oh,
Oh,
man,
man.
what is he going to do?
He's going to die.
All right, GG. And pretty much the only reason Shaddex is Inquisitor is so he can blow up this thing.
Yeah, this is the only part where starting classes actually matter because they affect your starting equipment. So I get Fireball and 2 wands, which does a lot of damage to that thing there. And Chops is in some type of archer or something like
I'm
that.
a rogue.
Oh, you're the first. What the heck?
Oh,
Usually
well,
I
that's
get
too
up
bad.
way before Chops here. Unfortunately,
It's-
that loses a couple seconds because he has the chest.
And he gets talked to. And it's fine.
Unfortunate, but only a few seconds lost. Overall, good run so far.
So I picked Rogue
Yeah.
just to give me a smoke grenade to start out with, which is going to be super useful right here. So up here, this is Leandra. She's like the big bad who's trying to like do some evil things.
If
something
you
like
played
that.
through the game normally, you know who Leandra is. You run into her quite a few times. Obviously,
Yeah.
this is our I think
So the-
second time encountering her.
The problem is, as soon as she starts the combat, she is going to spawn a whole bunch of enemies that are invincible and you can't do anything. But if you smoke grenade, she can't see you, so she can't start the combat.
Yeah.
And then you can just drop a big box on her toe and she dies.
And there we go.
Good fight.
So normally, if you don't do that, she spawns like 10 guys who are immortal, and obviously we don't have the spell to kill the immortal guys because we skipped everything.
Oh no, we left the chest, dude.
Oh no, what are we
Oh,
going to
oh,
do? Anyway, this is the last area of the game, essentially. Yeah, final boss coming up. Don't worry, if you've been disappointed by the combat in our run, I'm sure the final boss will pose a bit more of a challenge.
This time it's going to be a
I'm
real
sure it will.
fight.
Also, we left the last box down there, so.
Yeah. No, we can't just throw it on his toe this time. Also, there's this big army of Death Knights, but I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah,
by
so
now.
Zandalar is going to fight these guys. Unfortunately, he does not have the power to go invisible.
He should have spec'd into
But
Rogue.
I'm sure he'll be okay. There we go. Oh, he failed to freeze one. Oh, well.
He'll be fine. I believe in Zandalar. It's just an army of invincible Death Knights. He'll be fine.
Can we get some Kevin Turtles for Zandalar in the chat? So yeah, final boss coming up.
Oh no, I spelled it wrong. Kind turtle. So this is the area for the final boss. So we're gonna do a little bit of a setup. I'm gonna go in here and trigger. Oh yeah, this is Stardy or something. I can't remember her name. She's like the goddess that's supposed to be giving you the quest the whole time. We'd never met her until now, but it's fine.
Yeah, thankfully this run actually doesn't spoil anything because it is an amazing, amazing game, and I highly recommend everyone check it out. So what I'm going to do is just place that chest there, go invisible, and
all right,
if
here we
everything
go.
is good,
Final dragon fight. Let's go.
Let's do it,
boy dragon. Let's do it.
Oh, didn't work.
You messed up. He's too good. All right.
He's too good for us.
He's just stronger
Too
than the
good.
chest. That's a shame.
All right. Don't worry. The hype will be real very soon. That's actually in the right spot. That's weird.
Is it? Are you sure?
Let's try that one.
Sure.
Definitely the right spot.
And
I'll
go invisible.
Invisibility is the key to this.
All right, this time.
I did it a little late there. Let's see.
You hit
You know what's
him.
happening? My spell is hitting him. Haven't seen that before, but that's okay.
That's because
end of the run
normally you place it in the right place.
That's true. That is in the right place, though. Look
No,
at that. That's a
left
beautiful
more.
chest. All right, that's a beautiful chest. My invisibility failed because this game is good, but
Yeah,
it's okay. It was just a fake invisibility.
All right. So lava spews out from the chest. You can't actually see
Why
it.
is that not working?
And
Oh,
he
there
does
we go.
12,000 damage.
12,000
and the boy
damage.
dragon's dead.
Final boss is dead.
Easy first try every single time. And unfortunately, time's not quite yet because we have a little. Oh, we got the black
save.
screen. Nice.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, so in the enhanced edition, I believe they decided to add this little epilogue part where you go back to your homeland or something like that.
To think the
Yeah,
academy was but
this is
a
like the
hair's breadth away from being
Source
blinked out
Templar,
of existence.
Source Academy? I don't know. something
Source
like that.
Academy, yep.
I would have told you to let
And
the forge will be done.
oh, by the way, Zandalar is totally fine.
Yeah, there's Zandalar. So
he could
did
take
it.
on the Death Knights. It's fine.
Yeah.
So we just have to run to the end, and there's a conversation that'll be time.
Yep.
We're actually together.
Yeah, we're pretty close to
Oh,
each other.
nice.
All
All
right.
right.
So get ready on time. It is pretty soon.
That's shoutouts to 2B and Dat Boy, famous near automata characters.
And ready on time. It's pretty soon. One more
more load,
conversation
one more.
to skip. And
Time. So that is Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition, a
Yep.
very excellent game. I highly recommend going and playing it if you have not played it.
Hope everyone enjoyed. Get excited for Divinity Original Sin 2, which I believe is getting a full release very shortly. If you liked what you saw, check us out on Twitch. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the run.
All right, awesome job, Shaddex and DrTChops on that barrel storage simulator.